suspiciously. You're making fun out of me, she said, silver tears welling rapidly in her small, see-through eyes. No, honestly. No, didn't I just say how nice Myrtle's looking, said Hermione, nudging Harry and Ron painfully in the ribs. Well, oh, yeah, you did. Yeah, she did. Don't lie to me, Myrtle gasped, tears now flooding down her face, while Peeves chuckled happily over her shoulder. Don't think I don't know what people call me behind my back. Fat Myrtle, ugly Myrtle, miserable, moaning, moping Myrtle. Peeves hissed in her ear, You've forgotten Pimply. Moaning Myrtle burst into anguished sobs and fled from the dungeon. Peeves shot after her, pelting her with mouldy peanuts, yelling, Pimply, Pimply! Quarter past. Aunt Marge had already had quite a lot of wine. Her huge face was very red. Can I tempt you, Marge? Aunt Marge had already had quite a lot. Just a small one, then, she chuckled. A bit more than that. No, a little bit more than that. No, a little bit more. That's the ticket. Ah, said Aunt Marge, smacking her lips and putting the empty brandy glass back down. Excellent nosh, Petunia. She burped richly and patted her great tweed stomach. Yes, well, I'll have a drop more brandy, Vernon. Yes, a little bit more, please. Yeah, that's fine, thank you. Now, this one. She jerked her head at Harry, who felt his stomach clench. It all comes down to blood, as I was saying the other day. Bad blood will out. Your sister was a bad egg. They turn up in the best families. Then she ran off with a wastrel, and here's the result right in front of us. Now, Harry was staring at his plate, a funny ringing in his ears. You never told me what he did. Uncle Vernon and Aunt Petunia were looking extremely tense. Dudley had even looked up from his pie to gape at his parents. Well, he didn't. His father didn't exactly work, said Uncle Vernon with half a glance at Harry. Unemployed. Now, Harry had never felt so angry at this moment in his life. More brandy, please, yelled Uncle Vernon, who had gone very white. He emptied the bottle into Aunt Marge's glass. You boy, he snarled at Harry. Go to bed, go up. No, Vernon, hiccuped Aunt Marge, holding up a hand, her tiny bloodshot eyes fixed on Harry's. Go on, boy. Go on. Proud of your parents, are you? They go and get themselves killed in a car crash. Drunk, I expect. They didn't die in a car crash, said Harry, who found himself on his feet. They died in a car crash, you nasty little liar, and they left you to be a burden on this decent, hard-working relative, screamed Aunt Marge, swelling with fury. You are an insolent, ungrateful little... But Aunt Marge suddenly stopped speaking. For a moment it looked as though words had failed her. She seemed to be swelling with inexpressible anger, but the swelling didn't stop. Her great red face started to expand. Her tiny eyes bulged and her mouth stretched too tightly for speech. Next second, several buttons had just burst from her tweed jacket and pinged off the walls. She was inflating like a monstrous balloon, her stomach bursting free from her tweed waistband, each of her fingers blowing up like a salami. Marge! Yelled Uncle Vernon and Aunt Petunia together as Aunt Marge's whole body began to rise off her chair toward the ceiling. She was entirely round now, like a vast life buoy, with piggy eyes, and her hands and feet stuck out weirdly as she drifted up into the air, making apoplectic popping noises. Ripper the dog came skidding into the room, barking madly. No! Uncle Vernon seized one of Marge's feet and tried to pull her down again, but was almost lifted from the floor himself. A second later, Ripper leapt forward and sank his teeth into Uncle Vernon's leg. Harry tore from the dining room before anyone could stop him, heading for the cupboard under the stairs. The cupboard door burst magically open as he reached it. In seconds, he had heaved his trunk to the front door. He sprinted upstairs and threw himself under the bed, wrenching up the loose floorboard, and grabbed the pillowcase full of his books and birthday presents. He wriggled out, seized Hedwig's empty cage, and dashed back downwards to his trunk, just as Uncle Vernon burst out of the dining room, his trouser leg in bloody tatters. "Come back here!" he bellowed. "Come back and put her right!" But a restless rage had come over Harry. He kicked his trunk open, pulled out his wand and pointed it at Uncle Vernon. "She deserves it," Harry said, breathing very fast. "She deserves what she got. Now you keep away from me." He fumbled behind him for the latch on the door. "I'm going," Harry said. "I've had enough." And in the next moment, he was out in the dark, quiet street, heaving his heavy trunk behind him, Hedwig's cage under his arm. Last time I did this, I asked for children who could read, and unfortunately a lot of them couldn't. So I do mean I want children who can read, say from 8 years upwards. I want nine of them, if they would come to the front. Okay, but you must be able to read, because that's part of it. 9 children, just come to the front. Thank you, off we go. Oh, right, now what we're going to do. You've been listening. I hope you've been listening to the way I've been doing things. So I'm going to give them the script that I've been using, and they're going to do a reading. They're going to become narrators, all right? So now, and they're all going to get prizes, but I don't want them to just do a reading of this. I want them to do an impression of Jim Dale doing the reading. So they're going to have to put on English accents, and they're going to have to do the characters the way that Jim Dale does the characters. So here it is. The first one is Professor Sprout. Would you like to come forward? What's your name? JT. Say it again. JT. Let's come up here. Is this microphone on? It is. Okay, there we are. Now, Professor Sprout. Let's see if you heard me do it. I'll give you an example. "Pass, Finnegan, pass," said Professor Sprout. "It's extremely valuable, so don't waste it." You remember that voice? Okay, let's hear it. Ladies and gentlemen, first contestant.
"Puss, Finnegan, puss," said Professor Sprout. "And it's extremely valuable, so don't waste it. You will collect the pus, and I say, in these bottles. Wear your dragon hide gloves. I can do funny things to skin when you deluded. Boba tuba pups."
There we are. All right, good. You coming in? I'm going to hold the microphone for you, right? You give it all you got, just the way that Jim used to do it. Ready?
"Puss, Finnegan, puss," said Professor Sprout. "And it's extremely valuable.
Is this microphone? Oh, it is on. Speak louder.
It's extremely valuable, so don't waste it. You will collect the pus, I say, in these bottles. Wear your dragon hide gloves. It can do funny things to the skin while undiluted.
Bubo tuba pus. Come on. Can we have this mic a bit louder? Thank you. There we are. Try it. Give it all you've got.
"Puss, Finnegan, puss," said Professor Sprout, "and it's extremely valuable, so don't waste it. You will collect the pus, I say, in these bottles. Wear your dragon hide gloves. It can do funny things to the skin when undiluted.